Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Fathiah Binti Hasan and my metric number is 274054. And today I would like to present about the genocide of Uyghur. I would like to start my presentation with a quote from an American Uyghur lawyer named Nuri Turkel. The notion that Uyghur can sing and dance, so therefore there is no genocide, that's just not going to work. Genocide can take place in any beautiful place. What we will discuss here is about who are the Uyghur, where they are located and their population, allegation against China, backstory and treaty. Who are the Uyghurs? There are about 12 million Uyghur, mostly Muslim, living in Xinjiang, which is officially known as the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region (ZUAR). The Uyghurs speak their own language, which is similar to Turkish, and see themselves as culturally and ethnically close to Central Asian nation. They make up less than half of the Xinjiang population. Next is about the location and population. Xinjiang, northwest of China, and is the country's largest region. It is autonomous, meaning in theory it has some power of self-governance, but in practice both regions are subject to major restrictions by the central government. The region is also rich in oil and natural gas, and because of its proximity to Central Asia and Europe, is seen by Beijing as an important trade link. Xinjiang is the most desert region and produced about a fifth of the world's cotton. What is genocide? Genocide is killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group condition of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in a part. Next is imposing measures intended to prevent birth within the groups. Next, I will continue my presentation with this point. It is about Uyghur re-education camp in the Binti. Human rights group believe China has detained more than 1 million Uyghurs against their will over the past few years in a large network of what the states call re-education camps and sentenced hundreds of thousands to prison terms. What happened to Uyghur? Recent decades have seen a mass migration of Han Chinese, China's ethnic majority, into Xinjiang, allegedly orchestrated by the state to dilute the minority population there. China has also been accused of targeting Muslim religious figures and banning religious practice in the regions, as well as destroying mosques and tombs. Uyghurs activists say that they are feared that the group's culture is under the threat of erasure. We will go to the next slide. It is about the ethnic cleansing. We can see the first image is about the forced labor, the next one is about the soldiers outside the mosque, and the last one is about the rape. Human rights groups have voiced concern that much of that cotton export is picked by forced labor, and in 2021 some Western brands removed Xinjiang cotton from their supply chain. Amnesty called on the United Nations to investigate, saying China had subjected Uyghur, Kazakhs, and other Muslims to mass detention, surveillance, and torture. Women in China's re-education camps for Uyghur have been systematically raped, sexual abuse, and tortured, according to victim statement by Tursunin Ziauddin. This is the notice that was provided by the imams that they caught, where they were charged for being an extremist for simply doing the basic as Muslim. It is like praying. Report based on interview with 55 former detainees, Amnesty said there was evidence the Chinese state had committed at least the following crimes against humanity: imprisonment of others, severe deprivation of physical liberty in violation of fundamental rules of an international law, torture and persecution. The reports follow a similar set of findings by Human Rights Watch, which said in an April report that it believed the Chinese government was responsible for crimes against humanity. Experts generally agree that China has detained as many as 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslims and imprisoned hundreds of thousands more in its crackdown in Xinjiang, which began in 2017. There have been widespread reports of physical and psychological torture inside the prisons and detention camps in the regions. China has also been accused of using forced sterilization, abortion, and population transfer to reduce birth rates and population density, and of targeting religious leaders to break religions and cultural tradition. China denies those accusations and says its camp in Xinjiang are voluntary vocational and de-radicalization programs for combating terrorism in the region. In a report by Amnesty, also it counter-terrorism could not reasonably account for mass detention, and that the Chinese government's action showed a clear intention to target parts of Xinjiang's population collectively on the basis of the religion, ethnicity, and to use severe violence and intimidation to root out Islamic religious belief and Turkic Muslim ethnoculture practice. In March, the Europe, United States, United Kingdom, and Canada imposed sanctions on Chinese officials over the alleged abuses. China responded by imposing retaliatory sanctions on lawmakers, researchers, and institutions. The possibility of China being investigated by an international legal body is complicated by the fact that China is not a signatory to the International Criminal Court (ICC). Outside the court's jurisdiction, and it has veto power over cases taken up by International Court of Justice. The ICC announced in December it would not pursue a case. The last part of this slide is about treaty. The first one is Universal Declaration of Human Rights (UDHR), second International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights (ICESCR), third is International Covenant on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination (ICERD), and the last one is about Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman or Degrading Treatment or Punishment (CAT). Right to religious, culture, and social self-determination are protected as fundamental freedom by several treaties. China is a party to include Article 1, 2, and 15 of the ICESCR, Article 2 and 5 of the ICERD, and Article 18 to 20 of the UDHR. China's constitution also racially ambiguously provides for religious freedom. Article 36 expressly states that no state organization, public organization, or individual may compel citizens to believe in or not believe in any religion, but the same section cautions that the state protects normal religious activity that do not disrupt public order, impair the health of citizens, or interfere with the educational system of the state. Family is considered a sacred institution under human rights law and is protected under several landmark treaties. The Pair Up and Become Family and Xinjiang Classroom Program breach Article 12, 16, and 26 of the UDHR, which protect the family from state interference as the natural and fundamental group units of society, and grants parents the right to choose how they educate their children. Article 10 of the ICESCR provides similar protection, and Article 2 of the Genocide Convention lists forcibly transferring children of the group to another group as a potential means of committing genocide. Conditions at camps are opaque because of the intense continuing monitoring of Uyghur communication and movement, but there are widespread credible reports of extreme physical and mental abuse that meet the definition of torture under international human rights law, including the CAT, which mandates that even in exceptional circumstances, state must take measures to prevent any act by which severe pain or suffering, whether physical or mental, is intentionally inflicted on a person for purpose of obtaining a convention, intimidation or causation, discrimination or punishment. In addition, the CAT, this abuse also appeared to violate Article 2 of the Genocide Convention by causing seriously bodily mental harm to targeted Uyghur victims. The abuses also violate Article 5 of the ICERD and the UDHR, which both guarantee protection from torture and punishment regardless of race, sex, religion, or other status. China is not a party to any treaties against forced labor promulgated through the International Labour Organization. However, Article 23 of the UDHR guarantees the basic protection against forced labor, and Article 4 of China's constitution pledges to protect minorities. Article 9 until 11 of the UDHR, which China has ratified, guarantee basic due process rights, and China's constitution states that no citizen may be arrested except with the approval or by decision of a people procurator, 8 by decision of people's court, and arrest must be made by a public security organization. While China may argue that its 2016 counter-terrorism laws permit mass arrest of its citizens for simply practicing the religion, this argument will be null if it can be proven that the law itself violates international treaties. China has ratified along with its own constitution Uyghur rights to freedom of movement, especially attempt to leave China, are officially sanctioned under China's counterterrorism policies. This blatantly violates Article 5 of ICERD, which lists freedom of movement and the right to leave and return to the country as enforceable civil right. Article 13 of the UDHR provides the same guarantees. That's all from me. Thank you.